this fall. It's the next day. Hi, welcome to my first vlog. If you're new here, I'm Nuha. I'm a robotics engineer, and I used to work as a semiconductor R&D engineer at Intel, and now I'm going back to school to pursue my PhD, and that happens this fall. So right now I'm in this weird in-between transition period in my life where things are pretty chaotic. I have tons of packing left because I'm moving in about a month to move closer to my college town. So, I'm wrapping up this current chapter of working in the industry and prepping to go back to school and begin the next chapter. So right now, as I mentioned, life is pretty crazy. I'm mostly spending my time sorting through things, figuring out what to keep and what not to keep, tons of packing, and also spending some time getting ready for my PhD, so figuring out how I can avoid overwhelm when I actually begin classes. And so that involves a lot of rebuilding routines, rebuilding systems, getting organized, and those sorts of things. So yeah, I thought I would document this part as well, the part before everything officially begins. And it is super messy right now, but it is also very exciting, very much a work in progress. I am really glad you're here. I'm still trying to figure out what this space is going to become, but it's mostly going to be me documenting my life. So it's going to be a mix of robotics, building, learning, lots of studying, and basically me documenting everything that I'm going through and sharing the journey in this new upcoming chapter. Thanks for joining me, and let's get on with it.
Start to get a little concerned, as when you start paying attention to it, you realize is.
Okay, so for today, I have a few things that I want to have figured out. We're probably not going to work on all of them today, of course, but I at least want to have a list of things that I want to have figured out before I start my PhD. So the first thing I need to get done is figure out my fall classes, because registration opens soon, in about a week. So I need to figure out what classes I need to take for fall. And then another thing that I want to work on is basically making myself a mini pre-PhD curriculum. This is mostly to kind of brush up on old topics that I haven't touched in forever, so that I'm better prepared for my PhD, and also so that I can keep developing the skills that I want to develop, and not just surviving my PhD, because I really want to use this time not only to be a researcher, do publications, but also be ready from a skills point of view for industry, so that I can really grow into the kind of researcher or engineer that I want to become. And there's another thing that I want to start working on. It obviously is not going to be a one-day thing, and I won't be able to get it done today. But start thinking about the kind of school life system I want to build so that I'm more organized for everything that the PhD is going to entail, because it's going to be a lot of things. And I do have a lot of things I want to do and a lot of goals. So I need some kind of a life OS system for that. So I also want to get started on that. So maybe I'll do a little bit of research on it today if I have time. So I'll probably watch some YouTube videos and try to figure out what's going to be the best format for me. And this is really important because I didn't do this last time when I was in grad school. And I think that wasn't the best way to get through it. And it just created a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety for me, which I could have easily avoided if I was just a little bit more organized. And I really want to avoid that this time. Because looking back, even though I got things done, I hit my deadlines, I did well, but at the end of the day, the thing that was pushing me was the stress and anxiety and the adrenaline of hitting those deadlines. So I can't do that anymore. So things are going to be different this time. At least that's my intention. Okay, cool. So now that we have figured out what we want to do, I'll get started with actually looking at classes for fall. Okay, so I have just finished looking at classes and I've picked some candidates. So I've looked at my requirements, I have looked at what's available this term, and I've looked at some classes that I would love to take. So the first thing I did was I looked at my robotics core class requirements, and it looks like I don't have to worry about those too much. And this is why. So since I went to the same program for my master's, I actually have all the core robotics classes covered, which is actually pretty great. This means two things. I can either retake some of those classes if I want a better grade, or I can just go for classes that I really want to take. So just looking at the list of classes, I think I would probably want to retake a couple of them. So looking at the availability for this fall, I have decided to retake one of those core classes. So I'm going to do that. And I looked at the other courses that they have available that I can take. So the cool thing about robotics is you have robotics classes. You also can take AI classes and CS classes because, it's a multidisciplinary field. So I have a lot of options. So since my research is going to require a lot of computer vision, machine learning, and AI, I really want to take classes in AI and computer vision. So I looked at some options that they have, and it looks like they do offer a machine learning class, which is an AI class. So I really want to take that class along with the robotics core class that I want to retake. So that's my first pick. But there's also a CES class, which is a computer vision class. It's Intro to Computer Vision, which might also be another good candidate. So I'm debating between those two. But I think I would specifically love to start off with a machine learning class. So the good thing is I do have a background in computer vision and machine learning, but I have mostly developed skills from projects. I haven't taken traditional classes. I would just love to go through, what a traditional class looks like and learn a little bit more theory rather than just doing practical applications. So I would love to start off with that. So those are my picks. And I think what I'm gonna do is I will email my professor and just double check with him if he's okay with those picks. I mean, we kind of have free range on what kind of classes we want to pick anyways, as long as we meet the requirements by the program. So I definitely have to, of course, have my robotics core requirements met. And after that, any class that helps develop skills that are needed for the research is fair game. So I'll just send him an email and double check if he's okay with it. All right, cool. And also I need to do another thing, which is I need to set a reminder for myself on my calendar to remember that registration is on May 19th. So I'll do that really quick as well. Okay, so it is a new day. It's the next day. So yesterday I finished picking my classes, sent an email to my advisor, and then I went and cooked dinner, did a little bit of more packing, and then just like that, it was like 10 p.m. and I was exhausted, so I didn't get to do any of the other things that I had written down on my list, but that's okay. Today's a new day, and it's more important that I make progress and do the thing rather than not do it at all. So we're back today, and we are gonna work on the second item that we had on our list, which is building myself a mini PhD curriculum. So I'm excited about that. Also, something funny happened today. So I had a coffee chat scheduled with someone, and it's actually scheduled for the next week. But for some reason in my mind, I thought it was today. So I got dressed and then I went to the cafe, and then I texted the person. And then when I looked at our chats from before, I realized, oh shoot, it's not today, it's next week. So then I just grabbed some coffee, let the person know that I mixed up the date, and I came back home, and now we're here. So I'm gonna enjoy my coffee and get to working. But yeah, the stress from this move has really scrambled my brains a little bit, and you can tell. Yeah, so let's get started on the next thing. Okay, so it has been 4 hours, and it's about 8 o'clock at night, and I'm exhausted, but I just finished creating the pre-PhD curriculum. So usually the workflow for these kind of things, or actually anything that I work on, kind of starts like this. I would do my research and kind of jot down ideas on my notebook, so actually write things down physically. And then after that, I would, once things kind of start making sense to me, I would move on to actually creating mind maps of what I just learned. And so that's what I did after that. After I wrote down my notes, I went ahead and kind of summarized everything into mind maps so that I have something to work off of. And and interestingly, what was supposed to be a mini PhD curriculum or pre-PhD curriculum actually turned out to be more of a PhD roadmap. It ended up being what I would actually like to learn and what kind of skills I would actually like to develop. So it just became a summary and a roadmap of all of that. So, which is good because I was wanting to do something like this anyway. So this is a good starting point, and I can always, add things on top of that and refine it and things like that. So yeah, once I did that, the next step was actually pretty simple. I basically gave this mind map and some of the other things, other details basically regarding my research topic and my schedule and those kind of information. I basically gave it to ChatGPT, and I gave it a time frame, which is about 4-ish months. So my class starts mid-September, or I think the third week of September. So I have about 4-ish months to work on these things on top of doing everything required for the move and all that stuff. So I don't have a whole lot of time, but there are certain things that I do want to have covered before I actually start school. Otherwise, it's gonna be crazy. I gave ChatGPT all that information. It was able to create a nice curriculum that fits within the timeline. Everything is nicely broken down into weeks. And yeah, I think it's a really good place to start. It is also super dense. There's so many things I need to cover. I'm actually a little bit worried. But the sooner I start, the more ahead I will be. And it's going to be a huge advantage during my PhD because I would need to get through all of these things anyways to develop the skills and to be able to produce quality research. So yeah, I think I'm gonna conclude this video tonight because it's late, and I'm gonna have to go and eat a late dinner, and I'll come back and we'll create the Life OS together. That's my next plan. And then once we have that in place, we'll actually start going through the curriculum and implementing the systems, which is gonna be a challenge on its own. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. And I really hope to see you next time. Bye.